Hi, so this week my tripod's broken and you're all handheld, so any people with motion sickness might be a bit alarmed by this video. But speaking of motion sickness, would you consider that a disability? Many sort of questions on that tend to be about sort of self-diagnosis. It's like a lot of things say, would you consider yourself to have a disability? Aside from obviously disability benefit related situations. And that can be quite difficult, potentially even more difficult after yesterday's result, or today's result really, I suppose, is when it really came out in the UK. But it is quite difficult with them because certain conditions may be disabling to you, yet the people who make these decisions don't necessarily consider them inherently disabling, and unless you say specifically how disabling it is for you, it can be very difficult for them to make an actual sort of good decision and award you anything really. And that's kind of a difficulty for a number of people to actually coherently say, this is my trouble, this is what I experience, class me as disabled, and give me any relevant sort of benefits. I personally have got an appeal coming up to do with the personal independence payment, because they don't seem to have considered much of what I've said to be half or more of the time, which is what sort of criteria for something to be disabling is. It's got to be half the time or more to actually be a factor. They seem to have agreed that I have certain difficulties, but they're saying I have it maybe 3 days out of the week at most, which I wish it was that easy. And this is kind of what I said to them, so that'll be fun. As I say, I don't know if it's perhaps the quality of my original answers, and as time's gone on, I've been able to fine tune them, or whatever, to actually make them more coherent. Because I went in without any real help. I've only sought help once I've gotten to come to the point of having to fight it. So it's not easy, but I feel that I should do it, and that's why I'm sort of going to put myself through that stress and hassle. But it is what it is, and as long as I make my case clearly, then hopefully they'll sort of see sense, as I consider it anyway. So we'll see what happens. So something that I think will really sort of help my case is the fact that I've been issued a concessionary travel pass from local authorities. Even though the sort of disability thing is more sort of central based, disabled pass, if you will, is a local locally issued service, even though it's nationally valid. And I feel that it could definitely aid my case, by saying, well, they agree that I've got these difficulties, that I'm experiencing it, as I've explained it to them, that would prevent me from driving, which are pretty much the same situations I've described in that appeal, and I've sent that in sort of like a final statement with additional supporting materials. But I suppose to kind of end this on a lighter note, I did find that, when one is on a bus normally, you say, I want to go to this stop, whether it's a return or, a day ticket or whatever. With the concessionary pass, they now sort of scan on the things. You've probably seen them, especially if you've used them, obviously. And they just issue you a ticket that pretty much covers from the stop that you're at till the end. And I found this one absolutely hilarious, because apparently this doesn't just insure me, which I believe is what bus tickets actually are, really. They're kind of mini insurance. But it doesn't just insure me for the journey that I made. I could go beyond Kidsgrove. Now that's really good. It's allowing me to travel beyond Kidsgrove. It doesn't state where. Now, the direction I'm going, that could arguably mean I could take that bus trip to Manchester. That'd be amazing. So, or maybe that's what Buzz Lightyear meant. To infinity and beyond, Kids Grove. But I wouldn't have had that without that pass, and that's a little sort of pleasant side effect, if you will, of all the stuff. You know, getting bus tickets that just are insane and quite humorous to me. So, all that's left for me to say is, until next time, take care.